Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another show. On deadline day, the day in which nothing happened. Not nothing. That is not a fair representation of today. Stuff happened, just not the stuff that we really wanted to happen. And we're going to chat about it for the next 20 to 30-ish minutes with you guys in the chat box. I want you to release your stress. I want you to release your feelings. Tell me how you're feeling about things, because I do want to get through your thoughts. I do want to get through your comments. I do want to get through your feelings, because I am feeling so down about this. Really, really deflated. Really, really frustrated. I don't know if betrayed is too strong, but I put so much confidence and so much backing, and I've been really encouraged by what this club did in the summer, that I thought we were moving in the right direction. I thought these types of windows would be a thing of the past, that we'd gone into these windows now with ambition, and we'd be looking to try and do the right thing and to improve things and to grab the opportunity that we're being given. But we haven't done that. We haven't done that at all. We really, really haven't. We've missed such a huge chance to push towards the top four, to improve our squads when Man United didn't, when West Ham didn't, when Chelsea didn't. We needed a striker. We really needed a striker. We're going to go into the last 17 games of the season with Lacazette and Nketiah as our options. That is insane. That is insane to think that Arsenal had a chance of getting top four, and our striker options for the rest of this entire season, for the next 5 months, is Lacazette and Nketiah, who both will leave when their contracts expire at the end of the season. When you really say that out loud, you realise how crazy that is. Yes, there's Martinelli. Yes, there's Mika Biereth. Yes, there's Smith Rowe as a false nine, if you will. Yes, there's Nicolas Pepe. We really shouldn't have done this to ourselves. We really, really did not have to do this to ourselves. There have been players that have moved. There's Artur Cabral. There's Wout Weghorst. Players that moved for reasonable fees that Arsenal could have gone and got, and they didn't. And yes, I want to see us going for the Dusan Vlahoviches of this world. I really, really do want to see us going for those types of players. But if you don't get them, you need to have a backup. You need to have someone as a contingency. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, I'm very happy with that deal regarding, on its own, individually, without the context of everything else around it. I'm happy he's moving on. I'm happy that it's kind of done. That story is over. That door is closed. We move on. Very thankful for what he did for the club. I'm very thankful for the goals and the trophy that he helped us to win. But it was time to move on, and we've saved a lot of money with that deal. But not bringing in a replacement, I went as far to tell the likes of Vinny in the chat box that that Ainsley Maitland-Niles' loan was not criminal. But, It absolutely was criminal. It absolutely was criminal. And you know what? I will hold my hands up. That was criminal, and not signing a striker is criminal as well. Unfortunately, that is the case. Let's go to the chat box. We've got 15 minutes, and then I'm going to get a special guest in to talk about something very special. But for now, James Rowe, I said the same as Mo earlier. The only logical explanation is that we are in financial trouble and we are having a fire sale to ease our outgoings, or we have a stealth signing like the Chambers deal. Now, when I am speaking, it's currently 6 minutes past. It's 6 minutes past 10, which means that there is still time to stop the key from turning. Halo reference. And I think that our hopes of that happening are just zero. I can't. Even with the evidence that we've seen with Matt Ryan and Chambers, that these deals can happen very quickly and things can pop out of nowhere. I just surely know. Just surely that's not going to happen. And financial trouble? Were the stories about Vlahovic not true? Were we not in for him? It was Charles Watts, right? I'd be very interested to know, because Charles Watts, who is very well connected, and I respect his insight, says that his perspective was that we were never ever in for Vlahovic as much as a lot of people made out that we were. Is that the case? Is that really the case? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Cass says, I really couldn't understand why they didn't go for Jovic as an option. I think Jovic was difficult because Benzema's injured. And that means that just Real Madrid weren't going to sell. And that's why he's not moved to anyone, to be fair. So I think that's why. But Artur Cabral and Wout Weghorst's very reasonable players that would have joined, and for reasonable fees, wouldn't have affected our summer business at all. And yeah, really strange. Really strange. Matt says, are you not worried about the fact that we can't get fees for players? I'm not as worried about that, because all the players that have moved on, let's be real, Aubameyang wages out of the team, a year left on his deal in the summer. Look, move him on, get rid of the wages, save 29 million odd quid. That's fine. Chambers had 6 months left. You weren't going to get anything for him, really, were we? Maybe a couple of million, possibly. Kolasinac, no, you're never going to get anything for him. Maitland-Niles leaves on loan. Hopefully we can get a decent fee for him in the summer, but he'll only have a year left on his deal. Torreira, 12 and a bit million. Guendouzi, 12 and a bit million at the end of the season. You know, that's frustrating. Fingers crossed we can sell some players in the summer, and well, fingers crossed that the future sales of this club reflect a side that can actually get a decent figure for their players. Tony says, 5 months ago, after a good summer window, our expectations were a solid run at a top 4 spot, and then probably not spend in the January window, and would reassess in the summer depending on where we finished. I think that in the summer it was. But I do think that you need to change. I do think you need to adapt. I do think you need to look at the situation of where we were at come January 1st. We put on a very good display against Manchester City and knew that players were going to be leaving for the African Cup of Nations, knew that COVID was still a massive factor and could affect the team at any time. And we allowed Ainsley Maitland-Niles to leave, didn't replace him. Since then, we've lessened the number of players in defence, midfield and up top, and we've not replaced. And you have to also remember the fact that Lacazette, who is now our number 1 striker, has 3 goals from open play this season across all competitions. Nketiah has none in the league. None. We have, I think, 2 league goals from open play between Nketiah and Lacazette. I'm pretty sure that's right. And that's what's taken, maybe it's 3. That's what's taken us through. That's what's got to get us to the top 4. Meanwhile, Spurs have got Kane. Man United have got Ronaldo and Cavani and Rashford. And West Ham have got Antonio and Bowen and Ben Rama and Pablo Fornals. They don't have a backup striker, to be fair. Yarmolenko, but they don't really have a backup striker. So that may humble them a bit. And Chelsea have obviously, if they get drawn into things, have got Lukaku, Werner, Havertz. We are so screwed. On it, if we get top 4, it would be an unbelievable achievement, but it would not be because of January. It would be in spite of January, and that's the important point. If we get top 4, look, I'll praise what needs to be praised, but it will be in spite of what the mistakes that have been made in this window, and it will be absolutely the roll of the dice that fell our way, and there'll be a huge element of that, along with praise, because, I mean, you'll have to give credit if we get top 4 without a shadow of a doubt. But I am so discouraged by this window. It's so humbled me to my position on things. It really has. Alejandro says, people hoping for Arteta being sacked when the problem are the owners. I do side with this view more than I did at the start of the day. My view on this has changed quite a lot over the course of discussions with people, as it does. You know, when you hear things, when you listen to people, you certainly need to take on board what they say. And has Arteta been backed? If we really didn't go in for Vlahovic like we wanted to, or like we thought maybe we had, was he backed? And I think there's a genuine argument to suggest that he wasn't. Fingers are pointed at Edu. Fingers are pointed at the hierarchy for why we've not pushed and not wanted to do more, and why we blocked a deal for Artemelo. Remember that Edu agreed a deal with Juventus for Artemelo. 18-month loan deal, 40 million buy option. Hierarchy turned that deal down, said no. So we did actually agree a deal with Artur this month, and the hierarchy turned around and said, no, we're not doing it. We're not backing it. So have things happened behind the scenes that we don't know about? Probably. But still, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous to think that we are going into the last 17 games of the season with Lacazette and Nketiah. Think about the bench. Think about what we've got to come off. Pepe has got a big job on his hands now. Pepe is going to prove his worth, hopefully, in the next 5 months. I really hope he does. I have my doubts, but I really hope he does. Tom sounds sad, says Social. I'm gutted, mate. I'm absolutely gutted about this window. John says, I entered the video a bit late, hoping to hear some good news, only to be greeted by Tom saying we are so screwed. I just think that we are. We've got to go to Chelsea. We've got to go to Villa. We've got to go to Wolves. We've got to go to Spurs. We've got to have a visit from Liverpool. We've got to have a visit from Manchester United, a visit from Everton, who have got a lot of better players in their team in the last day. We've got to go to Newcastle. We've got to go. Honestly, we've played Norwich twice. We've played Burnley twice. Two teams that you would expect to get 12 points from both, and 12 points across the 4 games. And we dropped points against Burnley the other day. Oh, it's going to be tough. To get top 4 is a big ask. A huge ask. Calvin says, Salah, Jota, Mahrez are all wingers and have scored many goals. We don't need to rely on Laka to score. That would be great, but we scored 1 goal in January. 1 goal. And Smith Rowe played, and Martinelli played, and Saka played, who scored the only goal. So you're right. We don't have to rely on striker to score all our goals. But at the moment, we're in a real issue with goal scoring. So it's all well and good saying it's just not the striker that's got to score, but when others aren't scoring, that's another problem to think about, isn't it? King says, to be fair to Pepe, all his spells in the second half of the season, very true. He does usually finish the season stronger than he starts it, so let's hope that happens. Harvey says, Tom, do you think we might miss out on Europe entirely? Could we finish outside the top 6? We could. Look, what two teams from Man United, Spurs, Arsenal, West Ham and Wolves, 2 of those teams will have to miss out, I think, on those top 6. 2 of those teams will have to miss out on the top 6. So we can pretty much guarantee that Liverpool, Chelsea and City are going to make it. And then in the 3 remaining slots, one of Arsenal, Spurs, Man United, West Ham and Wolves, I've got to get one of the next 3. So 2 of those teams are going to fall out. Could we be one? We lose to Wolves or they go above us. So you never know. Kian says, Tom, is it Martinelli's time to play up front? It could be. It could be the time, because we may not have too many other options at some point during the season. We may not have too many other options whatsoever. Henrik says, I'm calm. I hope for top 4, but I always have my eye on the European places. We've got a great and talented squad. We can and will get Europe. I hope you're right, Henrik. I really, really do. AJS says, gamble means there's a benefit. I don't see any benefit of decimating our squad. Doesn't boost anything, just makes us weaker. It is weird to consider that we have a weaker team than when we entered the window. That's strange. That's damning. When you go into a window and your aim is to try and get to the top 4 and you finish that same transfer window weaker than when you went into it, that's crazy. That's a real crazy stat, that is. Daniel says, Tom, if we finish in the top after spending nothing this window, would you look back and give credit to Arteta and Edu and give this window No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'll give credit for them to get to top 4. As you should. And there'll be reasons why we get there and we'll have to wait at the end of the season. But the reason why we'll get top 4 will not be because of what we did here. It will be in spite of this. It will be because we rolled the dice and came up trumps. It is a gamble. We have gambled our season. Getting top 4 and not signing anyone in this window is in spite of the failures of this window. Without a shadow of a doubt. Because you cannot say that we have done anything in this window to help our cause this season at all. We're going to have to rely on some luck. We're going to have to rely on the form of our players picking up significantly, and we're going to have to rely on the other teams around us having a poor second half of the season. And that's a lot of factors. A lot of factors. Great Del Mondo says, so what happens if Martinelli and Saka get stuck in traffic on the way to a game? Give them away for free. Look, we don't know what ultimately has gone on behind the scenes with Aubameyang. That incident happened a while ago. There's been stuff that's happened since then. It must have been pretty bad. It must have been pretty darn bad for this to happen. I really hope we do find out what happens. I really hope there's some insight into it, but who knows? We'll wait and see. Mogos says, I believe we are still favourites to finish top 4. None of the players that have left would make us stronger. Signing a centre forward would have been great, but Champions League is... Look, it's still attainable. I'm not saying it's not attainable. It's still possible, but I just don't think we've done anything to strengthen our chances. I don't think we've done anything at all to strengthen our chances. That's why I am where I am. Zamir says, we've gone all in on Arteta, Tom. That's what this window tells me. 17 games, prove it in his contract is up at the end of the season. No, it's up at the end of next season. Not this season. He'll have a year left after this season finishes. So I don't think that we have. Julian says, Tom, do you think we need to hear off the owners? Always. I'm hoping that we do hear something, but we only usually hear from them during positive moments. This is one of the lowest points that a lot of fans have felt. Really genuinely is one of the lowest points that fans have felt. I know some fans are fine, and that's great, and I respect that viewpoint. But there are a lot of fans that feel they are at a very low point right now, and we don't tend to hear from them when we reach that period. So let's see. Edu has done a end of transfer window discussion in the summer. Let's see if he does an end of transfer window interview after this one. Face the music. Answer the questions. I want to hear. I want to understand why. And Arteta's going to get asked plenty of questions, and I hope those questions are good. I put it to my colleagues to ask the questions that need to be asked in those press conferences, please. Joshua says, what is the reason behind the board's decision for no signings? Josh, the reason in my mind will be that they were not convinced. They were not convinced by the ideas. They're not convinced by the players that have been linked. And for that reason, they've just simply not, they've not gone for them. It's as simple as that for me. Very briefly, I do want to bring in my good friend and member of the channel, Vinny. You all right, mate? How you doing?
Hi, buddy. Yeah, good, thank you. A lot happier than you. Not happier, but a lot less distraught than yourself.
It's just... I know that... And look, you gave in our show earlier on, Vinny, a 6 out of 10 for this window. But... I can't. I just can't, mate.
Let me give you another... pause for form. If January was an absolute disaster, and January was a disaster for many reasons. One, we had lots of players out with COVID, we had lots of injuries, and we also had AFCON. And it left us with a squad that was decimated, especially in central midfield, where we struggled to put a team out and compete. If you look at December we scored more goals than I think we've scored in a month for something like 15, 16 years. It was something ridiculous like that for us.
We did play Norwich and Leeds and Southampton, to be fair.
That's true, but we still scored the goals, and we struggled against them earlier in the season than in the past. We've got a thin squad, but I think we've got a squad that can cover pretty much all positions except for striker. Striker's my biggest worry. But I do think Martinelli could do a job there. And I know he looks very good out wide. He is very good out wide. And he comes and gets the ball and he runs a lot. But I think he has the movement to play up front. He's good in the air. And he's also willing to work back and win the ball. And he's good at spreading the ball as well. So it might be a role that suits him. But if we get injuries anywhere in the team, the biggest worries people have is central midfield, but we've got 4 central midfielders there who normally don't get injured very often. Yes, they make silly decisions and get red cards, but there's going to be cover for that position, and we should have a base for the rest of the season of being able to play at least 2 of our centre midfielders, which are open up the game. Even right back, I would consider playing Saka at right back. I think he does a really good job there, and we've got a lot of options now for the wingers. Where with Pepe coming back, it weren't too long ago when we were playing one game a week that people were screaming out that Martinelli should go out on loan because he's not getting a chance to play. So yes, it's not great. I think we're all frustrated, and I am a bit of a blind optimist at times. But it is frustrating that we don't have a striker. But we have got options to play there, and if the cards fall like they did earlier in the season, when we were playing all of the same players which are in the squad now, the players that we've let go, Kolasinac, Murray, Chambers, Balogun, played one league minute between them.
Yeah.
And then obviously Oba, but Oba went off the boil, and Niles, who played a few more minutes, but they will be taken up by like how many? There's my trying to make you positive. Hey?
No, I appreciate it, Vinny, because look, I think what's good, and I think what this channel shows as well, is that look, it's about bringing on different points of view and looking at things from different perspectives. I don't look at things in the same way on this topic. I'm really discouraged by the lack of activity, and we'll get onto what you're obviously here to talk about in a second. But I'm really interested to get your views on this. Go on, mate.
Do you think that's because your job is to come on here every morning and to tell us about transfers, and none of them have happened?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, obviously, I've had a lot of jokes about that sent to me today. Like, imagine doing an 8 a.m. show every day, and not only that, a 9:30 show on the Arsenal way as well, and then nothing happens. Well, we did sign 2 players technically, Alex Turner,
Rakic's deal's fallen through as well, so we do have a bit more cover at centre back, which is a worry if we was to get 2 injuries in that position. But so we've got Rakic as cover now as well. It fell through with Stoke apparently.
Okay, yeah, I've just seen that. Chris has tweeted that out, which kind of scuppers the article I wrote earlier, but that's fine. But no, do you not feel like though that a mistake has been made and that we've not taken an opportunity? And obviously you were on early when I was listing off the players that we could have signed. Do you not think that we've missed that opportunity? And if we don't, I say we finish, and I know it's hypothetical right now, but say we finish outside, not just the top 4, but the top 6, that we'll look back on this window and go, we made a huge mistake.
Top 6 would be a disgrace. If we don't get top 6, as much as I really like Arteta, I think he needs to go. Because we got to get Europe. The aim of our season was to come top 6, was to get back into the Europa. And if people said, "Will we be in the Champions League?" you would have probably laughed and said that's a dream. So we're in a really good position to do that now. And I do agree with you. Like I said to you earlier, that letting Niles go when we had no cover was criminal, absolute criminal. At the point in time when we done it, I think was idiotic. I don't mind him leaving too much now, because I think we've got adequate cover. A lot of people disagree with me on that, and are massively
we do now. We just didn't
out.
Then when we let him go, and that was the thing, is that FA Cup gone because we didn't have enough quality in midfield. League Cup, we couldn't end up fielding the 2 pivot midfielders that we wanted to, and against Burnley again we weren't able to field the 4-2-3-1, and that kind of base cost us in those games. And I mean, if we miss out on top 4 or top 6 by a point, we'll look back at that Burnley game where we couldn't play 2 pivot midfielders and think there's 2 points that were costed. The issue for me, Vinny, is that even with the top 4 race, yes, at the start of the season, I've sat here and I said my expectation is top 6. And I know there are a lot of people in the chat box or that watch other shows that I'm on and say, where are our standards? Our standards need to be higher. We need to be looking at top 4. And at the time, at the start of the season, I said, look, I think that we had the 5th best squads in the league. And so if we achieve top 4, it would be an overachievement. And so therefore, you'd be exceeding those expectations. But the problem is, I think throughout the season, seeing what's happened, seeing where we are, seeing the opportunity we had to bring in players this window that we were linked with, seeing Man United and West Ham and Chelsea all not strengthen and go through managerial changes, bar West Ham as well, and Spurs went through that managerial change too, other than Chelsea, of course. That there's been an opportunity that's opened up, one that we should have grabbed and taken with both hands. And I just feel like we've not done enough right now to have done that.
I agree. It is frustrating. I do think we've weakened our hand in going forward by not bringing in a striker. The reason I gave it a 6 earlier is I think we got a lot of players off of the board, off of our books, which added no value to the team. And it's going to put us in a financial position better going forward. And as I said earlier, as much as I love Oba for everything he's given in the past, I do think he would be a disruptive force in the dressing room. And I just don't see a way back for him. In his form had radically dropped, and he was just missing his sharpness in front of goal. It's annoying that Nketiah and Lacazette are the replacements for that, but we've just got to hope that Lacazette stays fit, and we've got to manage him properly. And if Lacazette does get an injury and it does hurt us, everyone has to blame this window for not going and making a move. And someone like Cabal from Basel, look, I've pronounced both of them completely wrong, is a quality all-round player and could have been our number 2. And he's a physical powerhouse. And making a move for a player like that could have made a difference. So yeah, I am disappointed, but what I'm trying to get across is I'm not as distraught as everyone else in thinking our season's over. I think if we didn't have a central midfield like we did in January, our season's over. But we proved in December with the group of players that we've got that we can go and challenge and beat teams. And we proved against Man City as well that we have the players to be able to compete with the best teams. And we didn't have that a year ago.
No, I think you've raised some excellent points, and I'm glad that you actually jumped on in the end onto this show specifically, so we could have some balance to the discussion. But you are here for another reason, Vinny, and a very important one. Let me just give me a second because I do want to throw up on the screen this. So talk us through, and the link to this, by the way, is in the description, people, if you do want to check this out yourself. So go on, Vinny.
Cool. So a bit of a shameless plug. I didn't want to plug it on.
Shameless.
I didn't.
Worst description ever.
I didn't want to plug it on the show that we did earlier because I didn't ask you permission, and I didn't want to just throw it up. But like a lot of people in everyone in the Discord knows over the past few months what I've been going through. Unfortunately, I was diagnosed with esophagus cancer, and stage 4 I got esophagus cancer as well, which they deem as incurable. And my first oncologist was pretty brutal with me. The good news is that my new oncologist is really positive. And basically, I've got tumors in my esophagus and one lower down. And the one lower down, we're hoping is going to disappear and I become operable and I become curable. And I've progressed so much in the last 4 months from being really bad, really bad, like couldn't even eat soup without being sick, to eating full meals now. And a lot of that has been down to the way I've approached it and my attitude just being really positive and fighting every day. And I'd like to thank yourself, Tom, because this show has been a big distraction for me, and it's well, I've been on here bloody loads because I'm obviously sat at home.
I can't get rid of you.
Yeah, you can't get rid of me and harassing people in the Discord. But one of the reasons why everyone should join the Discord is because it is such an amazing community that you won't see at any other fan club and or fan TV show or whatever, whatever you're called. Everyone in there supports each other, and we have amazing banter about football every day. But I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank everyone in the Discord, but also the viewers. If you would like to donate, every penny goes to such a good cause. Macmillan is an amazing charity. From the second that you're given the news, which breaks your heart and is really difficult to take, you're given loads of leaflets from Macmillan, which basically tell you how to fight your type of cancer, all the nutrition, everything. And then also as well, like I said, I was told that I didn't have a chance essentially. And when I joined the Macmillan forums, I had people reach out to me on them forums, which changed my mind on that because they were stage 4 as well as me. And they reached out and they said, look, I was told I was buggered and I'm now cancer free. And it's such an amazing platform. So if anyone, even if it's a five or even if it's a couple of quid, would like to donate, it goes to such a good cause. But again, thank you, Tom, for letting me come on here and talk about it. But also, thank you for doing the show, getting me involved, and building the community you have because it's an amazing community.
Look, I think Vinny, that and I've said this a number of times, that look, I've been banging on about trying to get to 30k subs, which in the context of things is such a small thing, and I've maintained that the best thing that I ever did on this channel was start that Discord server. Because, and it was just at a whim, and I was thinking, like, the chat box that obviously you join very regularly, Vinny, is great, and I always maintain that I think, and I go on plenty of other YouTube channels, and I love other YouTube channels and Arsenal creators, and with the greatest of respect, I just think we have the best community here. I just think we have the best listeners here, and the people that tune in, and that's based on, you know, us having our strict rules and not abusing people. I think Vinny yourself would say that, you know, I think you've changed a bit as a person.
You've only banned me twice in 2 years, put me on timeout for calling Ozil something and mocking Bellerin once. But I think that's the importance of when you do your shows. It's good to call out people that say other people are delusional, stuff like that. Maybe I am. I've given a positive spin on the transfer window today, even though it is very negative. But my optimism is what has got me through my blind optimism of being an Arsenal fan, not succeeding for so long and still being positive all the time has got me through everything. But it's important that people come on and give different opinions, and you don't come on and call them delusional or say they're an idiot and stuff like that, because they may be wrong, but give them a platform, let them talk and talk them round. And you may be wrong at the time, but you may be proven right in the future, and vice versa. It's like you said with the criminal comment, or people who said, why I said at the start of the season, why are we going to get rid of what's his name who went to Newcastle?
Gooner.
No, not good. The Arsenal.
Joe
player.
Willock. Joe
Willock. I was adamant that we should be keeping Joe Willock, and I was like, why the hell are we spending this money on Ramsdale?
I remember.
And look how wrong I was on that. And that's what it's about. And so many people at the start of at the end of the summer window were like, who have we bought? We haven't improved our team. And every single player that we bought in that window have made an impact on the squad this season.
Yeah, they absolutely have. And I think that the point is Vinny, is that what we always try and say, and I'm talking while I'm typing here, just trying to level up just a thing to go. There we go. Link in the description if you want to go and donate to Vinny's cause. So do click it, do donate. I think one of the evidence of this, obviously I can see how many people are watching the show. And obviously we're here to talk about, we started this show talking about transfers, which is the biggest talking point of the day. And over 400 people were tuning in to listen to me and then myself and you, Vinny, talk about transfers. And we switch over to talking about a very important cause, and there's still over 400 of you listening. And I think
thank you, everyone.
That just represents kind of the community feel that we have here and the commitment that you guys show. And I mean, the comments in the chat box towards you, Vinny, as well, I think you've seen plenty of them come through, have been fantastic. I mean, we didn't reveal this publicly, but I sorted out a fun thing for you, didn't I?
Yeah.
Was it a month ago? It must have been about a month ago now. And I got everybody who does the channel, the regulars and stuff like that, to send you through a message. And look, at the end of the day, Vinny, you're part of this channel, as is all of our members who come on the show, make the show what it is, join into the chat box. But Vinny, there's something special about you, because I've never known someone pester quite like you do. It's the way in which you basically have become the admin of the Discord server, to the point where you are pestering people to a level which is bordering on harassment claims could get brought up, and I'm loving it. I love every second of seeing you get you get on the show. You haven't been on the show yet. You should go on the show. I think it's great.
And so, getting on the show is amazing. Like I'm quite an outgoing person. It doesn't bother me. I'll jump on a table, strip off naked, or do whatever. Which there are many videos online which show that.
Don't worry, you won't have to see that if you donate. Just want to put that out there.
But I was quite nervous about coming on the first time, because I'm not used to doing presentations and stuff. And you support everyone that comes on so much. It's so easy. And it's so much fun. So anyone who wants to join the Discord, I really recommend coming on. Like from the show, like earlier on, Moss was one of the first people I pestered into coming on, and a brilliant addition to the community. Chris
Absolutely.
as well, and all of the guys that come on. Them coming on just adds another dimension to the shows, and I think that's what sets your shows apart from the other fan channels. Is your fan interaction is so good.
Thanks,
And
man.
people come on, they enjoy themselves, they get their point across, and they're not going to be laughed at. Like I've been abusing everyone in the thing over Christmas, trying to get him on the side of Jacko, which hit me hard in the thing, but it was good fun winding everyone up.
Yeah, look, I would recommend, as Vinny's talking about there, two things. If you haven't already, click the link in the description, go and donate, help them get to the 10k target. But it's a target that's meant to be broken. So let's help this cause go straight through that. And secondly, if you would like to join the Discord server, which you don't have to do, but if you would like to join up as a member and as a TGD expert member, or as a ambassador, that's the word I'm looking for. And you can join the Discord server. But it's, again, we do these shows every day. Vinny has been a very big part of that. Knows the chat box like the back of his hand by this point. I would love in the near future, maybe in the summer, and I did mention this in the ideas, to do something in person at some point, to get as many people kind of who tune into the channel to meet up, because it is an amazing community. As soon as that's something that we can do, and of course the world is in a pretty crazy place as it has been for quite a while, so that does create obstacles, but it's something that I'd be desperate to do. But as I say, I want to round this off, Vinny, by saying thank you for being a massive part of the channel as always. And I think what this journey that you're going on, I hope, even with all of, and excuse my French, and I don't typically swear on this show, but all the shit that you've gone through, I hope has made just the tiniest of percentages bit easier being around this community. And, we've all got your back, mate. And,
100% means the world. And thank you, everyone, as well, in the YouTube chat for sharing your love. Really does mean a lot. And keep positive. We can do this. We're going to get into Europe.
I'm with you all the way, but that might be one step too far. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Maybe not. The Champions League is going to be a challenge, but we should get into the top 6.
Absolutely. Chat box, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for leaving so many kind comments. If you're watching on playback as well, leave your comments, go donate, link is in the description, and we'll see you very, very soon. Tomorrow I'll be back with an 8 a.m. show. It doesn't stop, even though the window's closed. We're going to keep going. And I've got a very special podcast tomorrow lined up, fingers crossed. I know I'm tempting fate by announcing it. I did announce it on a Birdcat Wonderland earlier. But tomorrow we've got a very special podcast at 5 o'clock. I'll be joined by Kevin Campbell, Arseblog, and Clive from the Arsenal Vision podcast. So as lineups go, I think I've got a better starting lineup than Arsenal when they're hit by COVID, to be honest. So we'll see how things go. But that'll be a lot of fun. Do drop a like on the video. Do subscribe. Help us get to 30,000. But most importantly, click the link in the description and help donate and help support Vinny. Vinny, final thoughts before we wrap up? Oh, actually, no. You can see us out. You can do the last words.
Yeah, up the arse. Come on, Arsenal. Thanks.